Hello, world. This is Talking Live, and our subject today is guns. Okay, well, we want to sort out today, our subject's going to be guns, and I don't want to jump around, but so I'm going to bring up the issue of TikTok first because I want everybody to know that TikTok is no worse than Facebook, Google, all the other media. And I'm going to be talking about, stuff like that in the future, but I wanted to get in about guns, but I just wanted to say this because the fact is we had a balloon come over our whole United States from the Chinese, and they mapped out the whole United States, and to do what they want to do, they wouldn't be they're planning on doing something. And just think about TikTok. How's TikTok any different than Google? I can go to Google, look your name up, get your phone number for your street, everywhere. I can go to Google and look up the map and wherever you live, and show your house and all that. So what are we talking about? TikTok is a threat to our security. They know all about us. There's databases in the U.S. government that tells all about everybody that's been born that's got a Social Security card number. I mean, I know that the immigrants, Biden, that come across the border, you don't have them in the system, but you're working on it to get their vote. But we want to talk about guns today. Okay, well, I want to use guns as a subject that people, when you buy a gun, okay, and I'm all for the Second Amendment. I'm all for people to be able to bear arms. I'm all for that, but I would like to see more time in checking people out. The reason I don't think you check people out thoroughly if you just do it real quick. I think maybe 20 days, 30 days is a good time to check someone out. If that's what you do, not just to be lazy, not check them out and just let them have a gun. I think everybody should be checked out, not for, to trace them down, to keep record of the guns or who's got a gun or not like that. I just think people should be able to know who's carrying a gun. I mean, and I've run into people in the grocery store and what they got a gun on their side, and I told them, I said, well, you walking around the grocery store with this gun on your side, and if you don't know who that might be want to whack you, and you wouldn't even have a chance to pull a gun out because they see you carrying a gun, they would have the advantage on or knocking you off because you're walking around without a gun.
But how do you define checking out? Let's talk about that a little bit more.
Well, I think the records of people, their Social Security number should be taken in, and that person, and look at their, in the last 10, 20 years, if they assaulted anybody, have they done anything? But, you couldn't turn them down for a gun if they pulled a gun on somebody that was trying to hurt them. I mean, that's our freedom to have a gun at home, have a gun, carry a gun if we want to carry a gun. But you got to be someone that has the knowledge. A gun won't hurt nobody as long as it ain't picked up.
So my question is, do you consider mental health when letting someone have a gun license?
No, I think the history of that person should tell whether they should have a gun or not.
Now, who gets to decide that? The Democrats? I mean, do they have to have a mental screening? Who decides what's right and wrong answer? And can a teacher say something and have it taken against them just by somebody's word? It's a confusing time.
And if parents have a gun, I don't think they should be sent to prison because their kid gets their gun. I hide my guns. I have guns. I hide my guns, and I keep the clip one place and the gun in another.
What good is that, though? If you have an intruder in your kingdom, they're not going to wait for you to get your magazine. And technically, you have magazines, not clips. Clips are what are used on attack weapons like the AK-15 and the M16, where they actually clip onto the device. A magazine is what you're having in your weapons there, hopefully.
But there, I do have another hid somewhere where a kid can't get to it, wouldn't even realize it would be there.
Kids just have a way of finding things that you think are well hidden. I could tell you a story about that.
But I don't have no kids around me, but I still I have grandkids come over every once in a while, but I make sure that they don't know where it's at, or I keep my room. They don't go in my room anyway. They won't go in my room. They know they ain't supposed to.
There's a big difference between buying your kid a weapon and knowing they have mental problems and letting them have free access to it. There's a big difference between that and something that they get into that's locked up. I had to wait till my son moved out when he grew up because he could find a way into anything into my safe, and I just couldn't take that risk.
Yeah, I have safes, and I had a Colt 45, and before, and it was it had a weak string, and see, I mean, there's so many different reasons that could happen with Alec Baldwin. They could have been guns. They could have been same 45s. They could have been sitting out. The 45s could have been sitting out, and they had maybe multiple guns. 45s, the same gun. I mean, I'm sure they had other guns in a Western. You'd have more guns in a Western, and they could have been one for a live round to maybe target practice, and it got mixed up. There's so many different things that could happen, and and I want to ask all you jury, since this girl, the prison that was in charge of the guns, I'd like to know how many of you jurors and how many of you prosecutors have the guns. See, a prosecutor's job is to make you guilty whether you get it or not. I mean, that's the way a lot of them are. In Alec Baldwin's case, a prosecutor would be glad to have that on his record that he sent a famous person to jail. That would make him move up in the world, he would think so. And I think it's unjust. I think if they filed and wasn't going to file no charges against Alec Baldwin, they shouldn't come back up to file because it was an accident. There was no intent to hurt nobody. This was a movie. This was something that Clint Eastwood, take Clint Eastwood. He does a lot of movies. I mean, the westerns. I mean, and things can happen that. And his movies, but it didn't. But it does happen in certain areas of doing like movies or like a gangster movie, or it could be a western, and they use guns in all these. I mean, Wise Guys, all these different movies that they make. That's a possibility, and just so happened that an accident happened. And we don't know the situation. We was not there. All we know it happened. And the prosecutors, the juries, they have no idea. I bet none of them own the gun, and if they do, they don't know nothing about a gun. So they look at this, well, he was careless. Well, if you don't call that careless, it was an action scene. It happened because of it. It was an action scene, and the gun went off. Why? Because a 45 Colt can go off. It can have a weak spring. It can have some kind of a mechanical issue. I mean, or you could just pull the hammer back and then lock and it just went off. I mean, that can happen, see. And I look at all those things when I see something I think is unjust. I look at all the issues and all the possibilities. Well, the possibility is the gun could have been a weak spring, or the firing pin could have, there's just all kinds of looks that I look at in a situation, and I feel like that it was done by accident. I don't even know that. I mean, this lady got 18 months. I don't know that she deserved the 18 months. I mean, there ain't too many women know about guns anyway. That like that. Of course, I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene, I think she knows quite a bit about it. But I'm just saying, there's so many kinds of guns out there, and that people are careless. And I'm not calling this incident in New Mexico careless. I'm just calling it a movie that was putting together, a Western, and it got a lot of mix up, and this happened. And that's what I really, what do you think about it, Jeff?
Well, I think that's a bit off about women. There's a lot of women that know about guns. They just don't like to boast about it like us guys. I know mother-in-law and several other women that I know that carry those. They around with them in their purse.
Yeah, but I mean, they go get trained and all that. But what I'm talking about, people that handle a lot of guns and stuff like that in the movies. That's what I'm basically saying. Because there's a lot of people in the movies never had a gun in their hand. And the scene comes up, they have to put a gun in their hand to make the scene. According to the script, the script calls for what you do, what you say, and I just think that it was a mix up, and there was no intent. There was no reason for this lady to get 18 months. She might have been careless, but then she might have had so much pressure on her she got confused. There's a possibility of a lot of things that could happen on this scene, and what happened to this lady that got killed. It's we can dig into anything and make it wrong. But, you take some guy that intentionally, in New York, they can intentionally blow somebody's brains out, and they let them go with no bond. So, but try to hang somebody for something that was an accident is a bunch of bull crap to me, and I think that's unjust. I don't care what nobody says, and there's a stupid gnat or something flying around here, but I just don't see the justice of putting somebody in jail over an accident. I just don't see it. And what was it we had there? 28.3%.
28.3%
of unintentional firearm deaths occurred when someone was playing with the gun. Not using it, just playing.
Yeah, just clowning around. But I don't. Way I understand it, that we was shooting the scene, he pulled the guns out, and it went off. And I'm not sure of that. But that's the way I understand it happened, and it was, pointed the wrong direction. And so we know. Go ahead and discharge you. You're putting something. Go ahead and explain that to Jeff.
Guns aren't as high up there as you would think. As far as accidental, it's the 15th leading cause of accidental death, far behind poisoning and accidents.
Well, when you was in the Navy, I see Jeff. He's a veteran, and I give veterans jobs. I like veterans. Jeff, he's a great guy. Anyway, and Jeff, do you ever have any accidents on the ship? I'm asking you that. Something like this, similar to this, or clowning around?
Not gun-wise, we had a drone not get blown up, hit our ship, and split the ship in half. And we spent a year in dry dock getting that fixed. They're very strict about who touches what with armament.
Yeah. Well, see, we're talking about a movie, and then we talk about reality. The reality is that what happened in Alec Baldwin's case, it was an accident. There was no criminal intent. There was no, as far as I know, they was all friends, and Alex has to live with that accident all his life, the rest of his life. And that's, I think, when and the lady went to jail for 18 months, she has to live with that too. I think that's enough punishment right there. I don't think they should be sent to jail. I think maybe the prosecutor might need to be sent to jail if he pushes some accident to put somebody in jail or prison because of an accident. You take Bruce Lee's son. This guy pointed a gun at Bruce Lee and blowed his brains out in a movie set. Nobody went to jail. It was deemed an accident. Well, that guy didn't know that he had a real bullet in there, or I thought it was one of these cartridges was packed with a blank wad. They could kill you too up close.
Blanks do kill, because where we lived one time, there was a pastor who was giving a lesson one Sunday, and he used it as an object lesson, and he ended up killing himself by shooting the blanks into himself.
That didn't realize that that it was a gun with that bullet in it, and either way, in both cases, Alec Baldwin, Bruce Lee. Also, I remember Vic Morrow. A lot of you used to watch Combat, Vic Morrow and all that. It was a great show. I used to watch it about the World War II, I think, and we used to watch that. I used to watch that. Well, Vic Morrow was in Vietnam. They was shooting a movie, and there's a helicopter. He was running, coming through this water with carrying two kids, and the helicopter accidentally crashed right on top of them and killed them. And accidents happen. When you're in the movie business, accidents happen, And I just have to defend Alec Baldwin. Me and him have probably different views and stuff in life and different stuff, but I feel like that he deserves I think the lady, she deserves a retrial. I don't think she needs to go to jail for 18 months for an accident. She was careless. How many of you careless people that in jewelry? How many of you have been careless? How are you prosecutors? Your job is to put people in prison anyway. A prosecutor's job is to put them in prison, and it's up to the defense to prove that it was not a real crime. But for a prosecutor, their job is, whether it's an accident or not, their job is to prosecute you for what happened. They don't care whether you're guilty or not. They want that, they want that credit. But a prosecutor's job is to prove that you're guilty, whether you're guilty or not. I mean, take me for instance. I was over in my yard, minding my own business, arguing with my wife, and the cops come out, and they beat the crap out of me. They didn't, and then when I went to court, it was all my fault. They beat me up, almost broke my ribs, but it was my fault. It's called police brutality, and I think there's some great policemen out there, sheriffs, and there's people out there that loves justice. And my point is, in this situation, or where it was Alex Baldwin was a famous person, see? And for a prosecutor to send somebody like that to jail, they really get all hyped up on being able to do something like that. And it's true. I don't care where you like it or not, but that's the way it is. And being famous and being able to defend yourself sometimes just don't work, because they want to make an example out of you, or they want to get some credit for it, or I'm just disturbed over the fact that they want to throw the book at somebody for an accident and then let all kinds of criminals go. I'm just so peed off about something like that. And I defend Alex. I defend him because we have never met, but I've had opportunities to meet him, but some other things come up I didn't get to. But I mean, I'm not defending him because he's Alex Baldwin. I'm defending him because he had an unfortunate accident that he didn't intentionally make happen. It happened because it happens to people. Don't matter who you are, it can happen. You jewelers, you could accidentally shoot your wife. You could accidentally, if you have guns. That's a possibility for everything. As I always said, don't always count on what you think, because what you think can't happen can happen. In this world today, things do happen that's not intentionally. Alex Baldwin produced this Western, just like all the other directors, Rob Reiner and all the different directors and everything, and making it like Clint Eastwood, making a Western for the public to watch. And something didn't go right because it was an accident. You don't go to jail for accidents. You go to jail for breaking the law. He did not break the law. She didn't break the law. The lady got 18 months, didn't, and I think she needs a retrial. I think they need to throw the whole thing out of court, forget about it, and count it as an accident that was not meant to happen. I don't think anybody should be charged with manslaughter or whatever reason it was an accident. I think it should go away. Let somebody live with what happened and let it go. And I mean, you could take a lot of movies that after things happen, people get their leg broke and stuff like that. You take Jet Li and Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan did all these stunts. He broke every bone in his body accidents doing movies. And you gotta, and other people probably got hurt. It happens.
It happens to Tom Cruise a lot.
Yeah, I have, Tom Cruise. All these high-profile movie stars, and I'll invite all of you to come do a show with me. Anytime you want to, you come live, or we can do it virtual. And I invite anybody that are being misjudged and are being prosecuted for no reason. I invite you to come to do a show with me. If you're an atheist, or if you, whatever your thoughts are in life, and whatever you think, I'd be glad to do a show with you. I won't embarrass you. I won't bring up nothing to the past. I'll talk to you about your life, and how your life's going, and how you want it to go. That's what Talkin' Live's about, a free speech network. Just to let you know, in Canada, they're passing a law up there. If you speak your mind, you can go to prison. Make sure that don't happen to us when you vote. God bless you.
Thanks for joining us today. To watch this show again, be sure to visit talkinlive.com. We now have Roku and Amazon Fire TV channels for you to watch from your home TV. Or find more of our recent shows on most any of your favorite social media platforms. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Good night, world. We will be talking live with you next time. The views and opinions expressed on all Talkin' Live presentations are those of the host and their guests, and not necessarily those of the staff or management of the Talkin' Live TV broadcast studio, or by this channel or its management.